Good afternoon, families. Welcome to our Family Friday series. Happy Friday, everyone. My name is Heather Deer, and I'm the Assistant Director of Parent and Family Programs. Today, we are going to be talking about meal plans and more. So all things meal plan selection, dining facilities, and more. We have some lovely representatives from Dining Services here at William & Mary to give us a brief presentation and answer your questions. So here in our Family Friday series, we ask questions using the Q&A feature here in Zoom. You will find that at the bottom of your screen labeled Q&A. If you have burning questions, please do go ahead and submit those questions and continue to submit them throughout our presentation this afternoon. We will answer as many questions as we have time for. So at this time, I will turn it over to my colleagues from Dining Services to carry us through.
Thank you, Heather. All that are here, thank you so much for joining us. We are so excited to have the opportunity to be with you all. This time last year, we were novices at Zoom webinars, but Heather has trusted us enough to manage our own presentation. So boy, have we come a long way from last year. My name is Eden Harris. I'm the Associate Director in Auxiliary Services. I help with contract administration and marketing and general communications. And I am joined today by Stephanie May, who is a registered dietitian with William & Mary Dining, and Jason Opie, who is our resident district manager, who oversees our dining program on campus. We have hopefully a vibrant presentation planned for you all today to answer some really high-level questions on dining structure and how the program operates to help ease the transition for you and your student as they return to campus. We all have our email addresses in our name box at the bottom. Let's see if I can do this. Other way, right there. And so if you have anything that's really specific to your student, we really encourage you to reach out to us directly so we can give you the most specific answer possible for your family. All right, let's see here. Let's get started with our presentation. We've started on the original or the initial slide. I'd like to point out too, because we are quite proud of this fact, any of the photos that you see today in the presentation are actually taken from campus. This is not stock photography. This is all food and employees and elements of our dining program. Let's see. So the first thing is I mentioned in the beginning is I am a part of the auxiliary services on campus. Auxiliary services is kind of a weird term. Unless you are in higher ed, we don't really expect you to know what that means. But for auxiliary services at William & Mary, it's comprised of 12 different campus departments that your students are going to interact with every single day. Dining, obviously, that's why we're all here, but also as part of the auxiliary family, we have bookstore, we have tribe card services, we have parking and transportation, conference and event services, the print shop, even our child care center, lifelong learning, trademark licensing, the list goes on and on. If you really want to know the full list, you can look at our website. But we all operate as a family. And I think that's really important to point out in that as your student, again, moves through campus, that we are all these essential services are all connected. For contracted services, such as our dining program, the contract is managed by Sodexo, but we provide as within auxiliaries the contract administration for that contract. So we help support that contract be successful, and we are the college representatives for that. For self-operated, we provide budgetary and administrative oversight. Our self-operated services are those such as parking and transportation, our tribe card services, conference and events, and more. It's also really important to note that we are a revenue generating entity and that we receive zero state funding. So all of our programs must be self-sustaining and not pull from tuition or state funds. But we're really here to just talk about dining and meal plans. The meal plan structure at William & Mary, we have 7 different meal plans that students can choose from, including unlimited, weekly, and block plans. For freshmen and sophomore, they can select from 3 plans: the Freedom, the Gold 19, or the Block 175. The Gold 19 plan provides students 19 meal swipes per week, and the Block 175 provides 175 meals throughout the semester. It's important, the differentiation in that the weekly plans provide students a set amount, and the block plans can be budgeted throughout the entire semester. The Block 175, if your student likes to budget weekly, provides approximately 11 meals per week. Dining dollars are used at our retail locations, which we have about 16 locations across campus that they can use their dining dollars. The meal swipes are used at our residential facilities, which provide all you care to eat options with to-go program as well. Commons, or a lot of students call it the CAF, and Sadler are our main two all you care to eat facilities, but students can use meal swipe equivalencies or use meal swipes at retail locations such as the Marketplace and Tribe Truck. Menus are also loaded within the Bite app for students to access. So if they really want to make sure that they know before they get into the facilities what's available that day, they can look within the Bite app for menu options. The revenue from meal plans is how our program is run and budgeted. The program, as I mentioned, because it doesn't receive state funding, must fund itself. So students are essentially paying for access, whether they eat or not, because we prepare the food, we make sure the facilities are staffed and cleaned and prepared for your students to arrive. At the end of the semester, between fall and spring, any unused dining dollars can roll forward, but meal swipes do expire. William & Mary owns the meal plan structure and rates, and then we provide those details to Sodexo, our contractor, to operate the program within those structures that we've provided. Your student likely received an email earlier this week for meal plan registration, which opened on Monday. They have until July 6th to make an initial selection of their plan. At that point, after July 6th, if a student has not made a selection, they will be defaulted to the Gold 19 plan. We consider that our standard plan, but they'll still be able to make changes all the way up until September 10th. We picked July 6th as that initial deadline because we really want to make sure that meal plans are on the initial July e-bill that you will be receiving. The good thing, fortunately, is that all three plans for incoming freshmen are all the same rate. So it's really just the structure that they're looking for. The structure is really going to depend on how your student eats and what their eating habits are.
Eden, thank you. As Eden mentioned, I'm Jason Opie. I'm the resident district manager for Sodexo at William & Mary. Just a few operational statistics about campus dining and what we do at William & Mary Dining. It's a fully orchestrated production. On a typical weekday, we have operations that are open from 7 in the morning until midnight. And in our three main facilities, we serve over 10,000 meals each day. That would be at the CAF, at Sadler, and at Marketplace. So over 10,000 meals a day from over 5,400 students that are on meal plans. That's the number that we were at in fall of 2019, and all indications are based on current trends that we'll have about 5,400 students on meal plans again this fall that we'll be welcoming back to campus. But 4,700 of those live on campus in our residence halls and apartments and are on what are considered mandatory meal plans. And we have about 700 students who opt into voluntary meal plans. All of this is made possible by over 350 dining employees, which are really our strength. We could not do this every day without this team. And our team members are the most important part of dining services. And typically when we do surveys with the students, that's where we rank the highest. We rank the highest in our teams and in customer service that they provide. And a lot of that comes from the tenure that we have amongst our team. We have employees with 15 years, 25 years, 35 years, 45 years on campus, and even an employee that is 65 years on campus. And as long as he continues to work on campus, he'll be the longest continually tenured employee at William & Mary. They truly are our strength, and they'll get to know your students through the 4 years that they're here and make sure that they're taken care of. We care about fresh and local. We offer fresh and local and seasonal. It's a key part of our program. Here's just a few ways on how we do that. Kelray Forum is about 17 miles from campus. It's located in Toano, and we lease 8 rows from Kelray. We have 800-yard rows. They're planted, formed, tended, and harvested all by our team, by our employees, by our management team. We have about 15 dining interns who are all sustainability interns that work in different lanes, who all help out at the forum. and volunteers. We have volunteers from campus, could be faculty, staff, or students that'll come out to the forum and help us out. In the 2019-2020 year, we harvested over 14,000 pounds of produce out of Kelray Forum that was all used in the dining locations on campus. So all of that produce gets brought back to campus and gets used in our operations. It's a very proud part of our program. And just on my social media, I think it was yesterday, I had a memory that popped up from 2 years ago. It was a picture of my son picking potatoes at Kelray. And I remember that day. It was this time 2 years ago. Stephanie was there. It was Stephanie and myself, Melissa, our marketing director, Steve Moyer, who's one of our operations directors at the CAF and leads up our sustainability initiatives. And my son was in culinary school at the time, and I felt it was important for him to know where his food came from. So 1,800 pounds of potatoes later, we wrapped up the day. So it is all done by us, and it's all done by our team and done by hand. And I'm excited, and I'm proud to say that we are doing a planning this summer rather. We will have a planning, and we will be harvesting going into the fall semester. We also have a hydroponics wall on campus. It's in the CAF, right across from one of our dining platforms. And at that hydroponics wall, we harvest lettuce and herbs that are all used there at Mosaic Bowl, one of our stations there in the CAF. One of the new things we have coming this year that we're very excited about is a partnership with 4P Foods. 4P is out of Charlottesville and historically is not delivered to this area. The volume just hasn't been there. And we met them at the Forum to University Forum. Eden was there with us. There was a team of us that were in Charlottesville for the Forum to University Forum. We met 4P Foods and had a conversation with them over the past year and have been able to develop a relationship where we've made some commitments to purchase from them, and they'll be coming to campus once a week. We'll have a delivery from them, and it'll all be local and regional producers, and that'll all be items that will be featuring in the dining hall as well. So we're definitely going to continue to focus on local, continue to focus on fresh and sustainable, and all of those partnerships. We also have an apiary at Kelray where we produce our own honey. In the pandemic, like a lot of other things, we took some hits at the apiary. Our bees didn't fare so well, but we're in the process of rebuilding our hives, and we'll be producing honey out of Kelray again, and we'll be excited to bring that to campus as well.
Awesome, and now it's me. So hi everyone, I'm Stephanie. I love seeing where you guys are all from. By the way, I saw a couple of New York, fellow New Yorker, not New York City, but fellow New Yorker here. So I just love seeing I saw Texas, Ohio, so all great stuff. But I'm the campus dietitian, and I work with students in all aspects. So I work with students one-on-one, whether they have wellness concerns, food allergies. I'm a board certified sports dietitian, so I work very closely with all the athletes or just active students on campus. So they can find me pretty much anywhere, but the easiest way to find me is by email. So if you or your student has a question, please communicate. Let us know. We want to make sure that we are answering your questions or getting you the resources that you need as soon as you need them, so your student doesn't have to kind of struggle through the whole semester and then come back the following semester and try to figure stuff out, right? Let's get them the answers as soon as we can. So send me an email, follow me on social media. So I started an Instagram account last year with the pandemic to try to reach students more. So fuel.the.tribe.rdstep is where you can find me, and I post all sorts of stuff. Specials on campus, highlight proteins from plant-based options, all sorts of good stuff, always sharing on that. But something I really want to share with you all is I'm hosting a summer webinar series. So in that series, it's really just going to be 4 opportunities to chat with me about special diets. So if your student has food allergies or intolerances, is plant-based, has a religious diet, and you want to ask questions, learn more outside of this webinar, and really just dive deeper into what we offer on campus, I will be hosting 4 of those, and they will be around orientation. So the link to register for that was actually sent out in the meal plan email this week. So have your student check their email, go grab it out of the trash bin if they put it there, and sign up for those webinars. Because it's going to be a really great experience. Going to chat with me one-on-one and get the answers that you need before your student gets to campus. So That's what I've got for the introduction. And then in terms of our special diet offerings on campus, we do quite a bit. Something that I work very closely with is our allergen program. So we've got two great stations or offerings. And the first is Simple Servings. And so Simple Servings is our station both at Sadler and Commons that serves hot meals that don't contain the top allergens. So peanuts, tree nuts, wheat, soy, egg, dairy, shellfish, and gluten. And we will be extending to sesame as well in the next year or so. We do serve finfish at this station, so that's something to be noted if your student has a finfish allergy. But the research shows that by the time students get to college, they've mostly outgrown that allergen. So we do include that at Simple Servings just to give a bigger protein option. So that's open for lunch and dinner at Sadler. And then we also have MyZone. And so think of MyZone like a pantry. It's a great gluten-free, peanut and tree nut-free station where students can go and get breads or desserts or access the toaster and really just be able to round out their meals with those gluten, peanut, and tree nut-free options. And then based on student feedback, we've listened, and every semester we add to MyZone. So over the last, I would say 2 years, we've added dairy alternatives as well. So we always have dairy milk and soy milk throughout the dining hall, but we know that some students are allergic or intolerant to both of those. So we've got oat milk, pea milk, rice milk, flax yogurt, soy yogurt, you name it. If you ask for it, if you communicate with us, we will get it in there and make sure that your student is able to eat and focus on their academics while they're at school and not worry about what they're going to be eating. Then we have our Simply to Go program, which has only grown. I think that's the one really awesome thing that came out of the pandemic is that our Simply to Go program has blossomed. It's given students a lot of options throughout campus. So, I know life gets busy. They don't always have time to swipe into a dining hall, sit down and eat a meal, even though I wish they would take a break from studying sometimes. The Simply to Go program is great because they can swipe, they can build a meal, they can just grab a snack, they can get a reheatable meal where they can take it, go back to their dorm and have something warm. It's not always just a salad or a sandwich. It's really a great option for them when they're looking for something really quick and on the run. And then plant-based. This is something we've seen a lot in the last couple of years. And we actually have a vegan chef on campus who's vegan. Most of his family, his kids are vegan. So it's really interesting to see what he brings to the table in terms of inspiration. The students have, at both Sadler and Commons, we have two distinct vegan stations. So at Sadler, we have Maize, which is a composed meal, so always a hot meal where they can kind of mix and match. So you'll see chickpea stews or sweet potato or tofu stir fries, and they can kind of mix and match those meals together. And then over at Commons, we have Mosaic Bowl, which is kind of a build your own rice bowl that is plant-based. Students who are plant-based or not love it because you can get it. It's a great foundation for a meal. And if you want to add protein on top, you can. So there's lots of great plant-based options within those stations, but also scattered throughout campus as well.
I think that one comes back to me. Safety. So we wouldn't be able to talk about coming out of the pandemic into a new normal and bringing students back this fall without talking about safety and highlighting some of the things that we did this year and some of the things that we're going to see continue. There's a lot of unknowns as we continue to get guidance moving towards the fall semester. But to give you an idea of some of the things that we did do, it created a great opportunity for us to invest in some new technology and really stand some things up very quickly on campus that historically would have taken us longer to do so. And some of this was done internally with our organization, some through some manufacturer partners, and some through some startups that we worked with. Mobile ordering is something that we're able to bring to campus through the BiteU app. And I'll talk a little bit more about BiteU in this slide and then again in the next one. We also brought in occupancy trackers. We worked with a company out of San Francisco called Blue Fox, who helped us put together some devices that we have in the three main dining halls. So we had it in Commons and in Sadler and in the Marketplace, where you're actually able to go in and look and see how full a building was. So you can make choices about where you wanted to go for dining based on the density in a space at a certain time. And we integrated that with the Healthy Together app from William and Mary. So whether it was on the dining website or in the BiteU app or on the Healthy Together site, you were getting the same information in terms of how many people were in that space and whether or not you wanted to wait till there were fewer people there and it was a little bit less dense. So we provided that. We also provided HEPA and UVC scrubbers basically in the main dining locations. We worked with a company called Multistack, and all of the air in the dining hall is turned over 12 times per hour, which is what the recommendation was by the CDC. And that is done through these Multistack machines that are both a combination of HEPA filtration and UVC that we put together. They're still in space in the dining halls now. They're still up and running, and we plan to continue those in the fall. And we'll continue to update our guidance. We work with the guidance from the CDC. We work very closely with local regulatory through the Virginia Department of Health and the Peninsula Health District, and also with Virginia OSHA. The goal is to make sure that our customers are safe, the campus community, your students, our faculty and staff, and also in working with Virginia OSHA to make sure that our teams are safe as well. And we take that into account every day as we plan our operations and what we're going to be doing. Focusing a little bit more on Bite U and some of the things that are going to remain for the fall and some of the offerings that we have. Bite U offers mobile ordering. It's available in the marketplace through Tribe Truck, Sadler Express, and our Marinara platform there, through Cozy, and also through Qdoba in the student exchange. Menus are available in the Bite app, which is convenient for pre-planning. The menus in the Bite app can be filtered by allergen if your student has any food allergies or sensitivities. There's nutritional information if that's something that your student tracks, and that's all available in the same app, whether you're just looking at menus or you want to order ahead or you want to see how busy a location is. All of that is located in one space for your students in a free app that they can download on either the Google Play platform or on iOS. All items are available to go. Stephanie talked about Simply to Go and that program, and we've expanded that this year. We offer, with a meal swipe, a pick 3 Simply to Go in both Tribe Market, which is located at the CAF. It's in the lobby of the CAF, and Student Exchange located in Lodge 1 in Sadler. That will remain in the fall. And reheatable options. We have reheatable meals that are created by our catering culinary team. They cook them and they blast chill them, and then those go into the operations as a reheatable meal that's available with the swipe, just to add more convenience for our students. That's going to remain as well. And our outdoor seating. I mean, we've invested in it. It's already been done. We added about 60 tables outside that were very popular with students. And we think there's still going to be a desire for some of our students who are going to feel better about taking a meal to go, while we expect to have the dining rooms fully open as we approach the fall semester, which is something that we heard from a lot of students. We expect that there's going to be some students that, at least in the beginning, are more comfortable maybe taking their meals to go, or as the weather permits, are more comfortable sitting outside. So those options are going to continue to remain just as they have been this past year.
Thank you all for coming. I think one of the biggest things that you hopefully have heard is that our team is really accessible. There's endless ways to contact us. We have highlighted 3 main ones here, but the biggest takeaway that we can try and emphasize is don't hesitate, whether it's you or your student. If you have any questions, reach out, let us know. We try to operate with the see something, say something, especially if it's a safety concern. We want to know about that as soon as possible. We put out a monthly dining newsletter that will automatically go to all students on a meal plan. But we've also found that a lot of families like to receive it as well. So we have the QR code on the screen, but you can also text WM Dining to 22828 if you want to be a part of that. We'll resume that communication in August. We're very active on social media. We even have TikTok now, which is a new one. I do not do the TikTok. Our marketing team does the TikTok, but students seem to love it, and it's a great way to push out information. All of our events and special programs and special offerings are always posted on our social media pages. So that's another great way to learn about what's going on. And as both Jason and Stephanie mentioned, the Bite U app is just endless amounts of information in that app as well. So Jason, I don't know if you have any closing words. I know there's some questions that have come through, but thank you all for taking the time at the end of on a Friday afternoon for being with us. Hopefully this answered some of the low-hanging fruit questions that you all had about dining, and we are so looking forward to seeing your students in the fall. Jason, do you have any closing words?
I don't. I'm excited about the fall semester. Our team's excited about the fall semester, and I'm interested to hear from Heather what kind of questions we might be getting this afternoon.
We do have a few questions. So at this time, if you've been closely listening like I have, and you haven't had the chance to submit your question, please do go ahead and submit your question using the Q&A function here in Zoom, and we will answer as many as we have time for. You might also notice that staff from Parent and Family Programs are typing some answers to some questions, so you can see answered questions in the Q&A box as well. So I'm going to get us started with, during breaks, such as fall break and November break, are meals provided for students?
Sounds like that one's mine. I think a lot of these are going to be mine. So are they provided for students? So during fall break, yes. During fall break in October, during those 4 days, we are open. We do consolidate our operation, so it's a more limited operation. Historically, it's taken place out of the CAF, but we are open at Commons. We do provide meals during the complete fall break, and up to Thanksgiving, which I think was the next question in there. We are closed for a few days during Thanksgiving break, typically from that Wednesday evening, and then we reopen on the Sunday, and then we're open continually till the end of the semester, where we'll close and then reopen in January. So short answer, fall break, yes. Thanksgiving break, there are a few days where we are not open.
Thank you. So clarification on meal plan selection. So they have an initial deadline of July 6th to select a meal plan, or they go to the default plan. What does the flexibility look like after that July 6th date?
I'll take that one. So after July 6th, they can change to any of the eligible meal plans up until September 10th, which is the end of the William & Mary add drop period. They'll go back in. If they want to make a change, they can go back into the same portal where they made their initial selection, if they made one, and make the adjustment there. At the beginning of the spring semester, if they felt like the plan that they chose for the fall did not suit their schedule or their eating habits, they'll also have another opportunity to make a change. So their fall plan will automatically roll to the spring, but they can change. So for freshmen or incoming students, they can select from the Freedom Gold 19 or Block 175, and the pricing is all the same, but the structures are slightly different in how many meal swipes versus how many dining dollars are included with each plan. I can throw a link in the chat as well, so you can see the graph directly, but all of that information is also in the email that your student received.
Thank you. Eden, this one might be for you as well. What happens when a student runs out of meals, for example, in the Block 175, or just in general when they run out of meals on their meal plan?
Believe it or not, it happens. So there's 2 ways they can use dining dollars. So if meal swipes are used up, especially in the Black plan, which is really the only scenario that would primarily happen towards the end of the semester, they can use their dining dollars in any residential dining facility as well. If they run out of dining dollars, they can top up their meal plan through the dining website. But we've designed it, we study the usage every year. And while students do run out from time to time, it's pretty unlikely, given their full plan, that they'll have what they need to get through the semester.
Okay. Is there a conversion rate from dining dollars, or is it just a straight 1-to-1?
You want me to take that one? Or?
Yep, I was just saying, Jason, you want to take that one?
It's a quick answer. It's a straight 1-to-1. So yeah, each dining dollar spends like a regular dollar.
Makes sense. What kinds of food are served in the Tribe Truck? I've seen this question 4 or 5 times, so we've got some interest in the Tribe Truck.
I'll be happy to take Tribe Truck. I like Tribe Truck. I've got a picture on my phone of a killer cioppino that I had at the Tribe Truck one Friday that made me very, very happy. And some fish tacos that were really good. So it's a couple of examples of what's served at the Tribe Truck. So the Tribe Truck this past semester was featured on Fridays. It was Food Truck Fridays. We did move the truck from its original location. The truck used to be parked outside of Sadler on the Sadler Terrace. With the Sadler West construction, the space where we would normally park the truck is now within a fire lane. So we had to move it. That's one reason. The other reason is we found a high traffic area between Lemon and Hardy. So between those two residence halls, I think one is a freshman residence hall and one is an upperclassman residence hall right next to each other, right next to ISC 3, which is again another very busy building where students have a lot of classes, and just a very short walk from swim. So it seemed like a prime location to put the truck, and we moved the truck there. And as of this year, our catering culinary team, they approached me. They showed interest in taking over the truck. And so that's what we did. So it's our catering executive chef and his team that put together the menus, and they feature an entree there. It will be every day. It won't just be Fridays. It'll be Monday through Friday, 11 to 3, that the truck is going to be open, and Chef Greg and his team will prepare menus for that, which could be anything from, it could be wings, it could be fish tacos, it could be the cioppino like we saw on one Friday. Smokehouse tacos, anytime we smoke meat, it tends to be really popular, and the smokehouse tacos are very popular. Wings are very popular. Mac and cheese is popular when we do that with different toppings that students can add. And one thing that Greg and his team always feature is a vegetarian or vegan option along with a traditional meat option. So we do take that into account as well.
Fabulous. So is a meal plan truly unlimited, or does it just mean you get 3 meals per day?
I'm assuming that the question is talking specifically on the Freedom Plan.
Yeah.
It is unlimited, so it gives your student the most flexibility in the residential dining facility. So if they want to come in before class and swipe in and just grab a coffee and an apple on their way to class, then they come back afterwards and they want to grab a bowl of cereal, and then they come back an hour or two later and grab a sandwich, and so on and so forth throughout the day. They have the flexibility to do that. It's really student preference. Some students love the variety and the flexibility that the residential dining facilities offer, and the Freedom Plan is a great option for that. And some students like the more traditional cafe retail locations. And so that's where Block 175 with the higher amount of dining dollars is a good option as well. So we've really tried to have Goldilocks and the 3 bears between the 3 options of our meal plans, depending on how your student likes to eat. We recognize it's hard to make that selection that first semester. So that's why we give them an opportunity into the first week or 2 of classes to see how their schedule has fallen and to see what their patterns might be, where they're living, where their classes are. And then again, to make that switch in the spring to suit their needs as well.
And you can always add additional dining dollars to the Freedom Plan if you wanted to do that. So if you see a need for more dining dollars, you can add those. If you look on the dining website, there's different bonus opportunities depending on the level that you buy in with the dining dollars. But no, it truly is a carte blanche plan, and students can use as many swipes as they would like.
Does the Simple Serving Station exclude all gluten, including rye and barley, or just exclude wheat?
Simple Servings excludes all gluten. So we don't do wheat or gluten at that station. So it's a big foundation in rice, potatoes, quinoa, all of those gluten-free grains. We try to add a lot of variety in the way we cook them to give the students a good amount of variety at that station.
A follow-up question for you. Is almond milk offered anywhere on campus?
So we do not offer nuts within our residential and marketplace, simply because there's a lot of students on campus who have peanut and tree nut allergies. So we try not to use any, or we do not use any nuts in our recipes. So you won't find a banana walnut bread or a macadamia white chocolate cookie. You won't find any of that within our dining hall. However, there are some breads and desserts that come from the outside that are made in facilities that contain peanuts and tree nuts. And so that's why we say, if your student has a true peanut and tree nut allergy, ensure that they're getting their breads and their desserts from the MyZone station, which is our gluten, peanut, and tree nut free completely station. And everything is individually wrapped at that station as well. So to answer the question, no, we don't do almond milk within the dining hall. However, there was a time, I think we had 6 or 7 different types of milks within the dining hall. And one of the chefs was like, we got to narrow this down to 5 because, 8 is a lot. You don't realize what they can make milk out of these days. So there's a lot of types in the dining hall.
Thank you. So this is a question you might not be able to answer, but I've seen it a few times. What is the most common first year or incoming student dining plan?
I could take that. It's the default, the gold 19, because if anyone doesn't pick another plan, that's obviously where the plan will get put. I say first semester, first year students, gold 19 by far. Next to that would be the block 175. That would be the next one. If a student thinks, well, 19 meals might be too many, they'll take the block 175, gives you that flexibility throughout the semester, and then the additional dining dollars. Those are the biggest two that we see, but by far gold 19 for first year students.
And I'll piggyback on that. I think the gold 19 takes the guesswork out of it. I think a lot of families are concerned that while 175 sounds like a big number at the beginning of the semester, are concerned about their students, especially as they're developing their social circles and they're learning their way through campus, that the 175 can disappear really, really quickly. But the 19 guarantees that every week your student will have access to meals.
And to put it in perspective, that 175 equates to about 12 meals a week. In a normal, typical semester, it's about 12 meals a week.
Thank you for that clarification. Can you share some examples of vegetarian meals that you could get with a meal plan swipe at Marketplace?
I've got that one. So at Marketplace, we have a good variety. And the beauty of Marketplace is it's a la carte. So you can kind of pick and choose and build your meal around that. The most classic being the salad bar, right? You can absolutely do that. They've added pizza this year. We've gotten veggie burgers. There's a delicious vegan chili. There's minestrone soups. So they really try to add a good variety within there. And I actually met with our manager over at the retail marketplace unit this week, and he's got some great ideas for really shaking it up this year and adding some good variety for all special diets. So whether it be plant-based, so vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, but also food allergies, we're really trying to add in. And yes, the caprese, yeah, that's a top. That caprese sandwich is definitely one of the favorites. I think they sell out like all the time for those. They're definitely very popular.
We mentioned mobile ordering. Is there any surcharge or additional charge for students to do mobile ordering or to go from the dining halls?
There isn't. There's no additional charge. There's no additional fee on that. That is one of the beauties of us using an internal app like BiteU as opposed to something like Grubhub. We're able to control the fees. And so no, for the mobile ordering, there's no additional fees for the student.
Someone just asked a lovely follow-up question. So what does the Bite app do again? What all can students do through that app?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Bite app, it does a multitude of things, right? So the original Bite app, when we rolled it out, was really for students to be able to look at menus ahead of time. That's evolved. That app still exists. So when you go into either the App Store or go into Google Play to download BiteU, look for BiteU, look for orange as opposed to blue. Blue's the old app. Some people still use that. Our university segment is on BiteU, and that's the orange one. It gives you the option of going in and looking at the menus for the different main dining locations. You can look at what's being served throughout the week, plan out your meals. You can search that for food allergens. There's a nutrition calculator component that's available in it as well, and the mobile ordering for the sites that order it. So at the bottom of the, there's a dashboard at the bottom. There's an order tab. There's a menus tab, so you can look at menus, you can search allergens, you can look at nutritional information within the menus, you can order at the locations that feature it. Those are all located right in there. And the other things that we integrated with it, again, are like the occupancy tracker with Blue Fox. That's available as well on the homepage. And we will continue to see the Bite app grow. I'm on calls weekly, and there's stuff that's in the pipeline that we're going to continue to see features get added to that app.
Wonderful. One of our last questions, we are running a little bit low on time. One of our last questions will be, can you clarify the difference between dining dollars and a meal swipe, and what does it mean when we say meal swipe?
I'll be happy to take that one. So every meal plan has a combination of swipes and dining dollars. So the Gold 19 has 19 swipes. The Block 175 has 175. The Gold 19 has 225 dining dollars, whereas the Block 175 has 400. So the meal swipes can be used at the CAF, at Commons Dining Hall, can be used at Sadler. They could be used at Marketplace, could be used at the Tribe Truck, can be used in the Student Exchange or Tribe Market for simply to go pick three. And basically it's a meal, right? That's what a meal swipe is. So at Commons or Sadler, when the student swipes in, I think this is actually one of the questions that was pre-sent ahead of time as well, asked that question about what does that mean? How many times can I go back on a meal swipe, right? So if you swipe at Commons or Sadler, that's basically the cost of admission, right? Once you're in the dining hall, it's all you care to eat. So if you want to go and see Arnie at the walk station and get a small plate of General Tso's, but then go to the salad bar and you see something else that you might like at Simple Servings, you can do that and put your meal together, right? We call it menu mapping. Stephanie features it on her pages as well on how you can build a meal. And I think one of my best examples is the chicken parm when we weren't serving chicken parmesan, but that's really what I wanted, right? Go to 3 or 4 different stations, you can make a lot of things happen in the dining hall. But with the meal swipe, once you're in the dining hall, it is all you care to eat at Commons and at Sadler. At Marketplace, a meal swipe, you'd be able to go in and be able to build a complete meal. So that may be a sandwich with a side salad or a fruit cup and cookies and a beverage, and you'll be able to build that meal. Same thing with the Tribe Truck. It would include the entree and then your beverage and your side as well with that. So that's the meal swipe. The dining dollars, as we mentioned earlier, are a dollar for dollar. They're typically used in our retail locations. So Chick-fil-A, Cozy, Qdoba, the C stores for buying items in either of the markets. Getting a coffee at Aromas if you're studying, or going to Daily Grinding, getting a coffee. We have cafes at the School of Law, the School of Ed, and the School of Business. That's where you would use your dining dollars. So your dining dollars would be used in those retail locations to purchase meals there.
Thank you. Okay. I still see we have quite a few questions left, so we're going to try and get to a few more if possible. I see a couple questions about student athletes. Do student athletes eat in the dining facilities? How do we ensure that student athletes are getting enough protein is one of the specific questions I heard. So if maybe we could touch on how athletes interact with our dining facilities.
I've got this one. So athletes eat in the same dining facilities that everyone else is. I will say that the CAF tends to be the hub because it's right next to Kaplan. So it's typically where they go to. I recommend athletes start off on the Freedom Plan. Start there and then adjust down if you need, depending on your practice schedule, what you prefer, retail versus the CAF or Sadler and that sort of thing. But definitely start with the Freedom Plan as an athlete, and then you can taper up to September 10th, that add drop period for there. But yeah, there's lots of great options. I work really closely with all of the teams. So you can literally just go to your coach and say, hey, I want to talk to Steph, and they will send you my way to meet with me one-on-one, or I do a lot of team talks with the team or group kind of games and challenges. So you definitely will see me floating around Kaplan if you are an athlete, but I highly recommend one, going to check out CAF. And I think menu mapping, like Jason said, is really the key, is building meals off of different stations. So maybe you go to Mosaic Bowl and get a big, beautiful rice bowl. So lots of carbs, lots of color in there from fruits and veggies. And then you go to Simple Servings and you get the chicken thigh or grilled chicken from the grill. And then you go to the salad bar and you get some hummus, and you can kind of piece together this really nice meal within 5 minutes, right? And so it doesn't always have to be, this is for any student, you can really get creative. And to answer the question that just came through, the Freedom Plan is the unlimited swipes per day. So you can swipe in and grab a coffee and an apple, then you can go for breakfast, then you can grab a coffee after breakfast before lunch and that sort of thing.
Wonderful. Thank you. So can you pay with cash or credit card at any dining location? And where dining dollars are accepted, can you use cash, credit, or debit to pay for meals?
Absolutely. Yes, cash, credit, debit, all of that works in every dining location. Also, William & Mary Express, which I don't think actually has come up at all. William & Mary has their own bank of dollars that's available that can be put onto a student's Tribe card that can be used at various places throughout the community. We accept Express as well at every dining location. So all dining locations accept all tenders.
I'm actually going to put in the chat for everyone a link to more information about William & Mary Express. So you can go there and learn all about it. I've seen 2 questions along this same vein. Are there any smoothie stations available on campus or anywhere that a student may be able to get a smoothie?
I'm looking at Stephanie I'm trying to think through this. I'm trying to run it through my head.
There are a couple. We used to do the specials at Sadler where we'd have kind of the pop-up smoothie bars every day and we'd make those. If I pull out the smoothie bike on random pop-up events on campus, students can get a smoothie. And then there's also a couple places in town, like Local, which is right in the corner, where you can get smoothies as well. But on campus, definitely something we're working and building on, because we know when we did have them, everyone loved them. They sold really, really well in the dining halls.
I believe Aromas does, and I should know this, but over this past year and a half, a lot of menus have changed and product availability has changed. At one time they did, but I believe they do.
I think you're right.
But I would have to see, but I'm fairly certain that Aromas does.
Okay, I'm going to wrap us up with a couple questions to close us out. 1, how can students and family members check in on what the hours are for dining facilities, what's on the menu that day, and just more information about their meal plan, potentially how many dining dollars they have left? That's question number 1.
Okay, so let me unpack that one. There's a few things going on there. So we have a lot going on. So in terms of knowing the hours of operation, I would suggest going to the dining website, dining.wm.edu. There's a What's Open Now tab that's got a slider at the top. You can also sort by retail, by resident dining, and that's where you'll find all the hours. Any hours changes. I mean, there's things that will happen that'll come up. I'll use weather as an example. We're in the middle of hurricane season right now. Actually, we just kind of started it. Or when we have winter weather, in the winter time, there's times where things will happen and we may have to adjust hours. The dining website is always where you want to go for things like that. So dining.wm.edu. Look at what's open now, and you can also look at the standard hours for every location. So that's your best source of information for that. Menus are available on the dining website as well. So on that same website, you can look at the menus for the different locations. I would suggest using the Byte app for the menus, because ByteU is tied directly into our production systems. So if a chef has to change a menu for some reason, they can change that menu. They do a push to Byte and it'll update there. So it's tied into our digital signage at Sadler. It's tied into the app. All of those systems are integrated together. So for menus, definitely ByteU, and especially since it has nutritional information and you can sort it by allergens, that would be my recommendation. And in terms of balances on your meal plan, how many dollars do I have left? How many meals have I used this week? That information, one, will be available at any of the cash registers. So if a student goes into one of the dining halls, they can get their balance whenever they use it, or to TribeCard. And that address, I don't know off the top of my head, but Eden probably does.
I put it in the chat, I believe, but it is mealplan.wm.edu. They can go on a desktop if they're on a computer and check. If they are on their mobile, which most students typically are, if they also have the William and Mary app, they can look at the TribeCard link within the William and Mary app and check their balances, both for dining dollars and meal swipes. Lots of apps.
Dan, I'm glad you said that. Eden, because also in the William and Mary app, there's a dining icon. I think it's a fork and a spoon, or a fork and a knife rather. You hit the dining icon, that takes you straight to the dining website. So you can go to the William and Mary app and access everything through there as well.
Wonderful. Okay, my next question would be for families who are trying to help their students through the process of selecting a meal plan, where can they go on the website to learn more about the meal plans that are offered to our incoming students?
I will put that in the chat. I think I had, but if not, maybe I'm getting my responses mixed up. But we will put that in the chat as well. So you can go and look at the different options and see, yep, here we go. If you freshman meal plan options, I'll do it again. That will go to our website where we have all the meal plan options. It lays out how many swipes Dining dollars are loaded on a semester basis. So the amount that you'll see on that site is how many dining dollars they get for the entire semester. And then the semester rate. So the cost that you will see is based on the semester.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And unused dining dollars. I'm sorry, Heather, I didn't mean to cut you off. Just to kind of add to what Eden was saying, unused dining dollars will roll from the fall semester to the spring semester as well.
And my last question would be, we still have unopened questions, some really great questions. And so I'm going to encourage families, if we weren't able to get to your question, to go ahead and send us an email. So to the team that's here with me, what is the best way for them to get in touch with you?
For me, my email is up on the screen. I mean, it goes directly to my phone, so we get them in real time. But jcop@wm.edu, or on the dining website, there's also a contact us tab. Those all come directly to me and other members of my team as well. Or dining@wm.edu. That email as well is monitored by several members of my team.
Yeah, I'll echo if there's ever any questions about meal plans or anything dining related as well. ER Harris is my personal email through William & Mary. You can also email auxiliary, AUXILIARY @wm.edu. And that comes to my inbox as well. The other thing I think we haven't mentioned, and we're just going to throw a little more nuggets of information. I know we've overwhelmed you. You know, we work with a lot of students. We have internships. We have our student culinary council. And these are students who really serve as our boots on the ground. They are also wonderful ways for your students to get to know our dining team, as well as for your students to get to know them if they aren't a part of those groups, to be able to pass along information. We have a really dedicated team. I know, Stephanie, you hire interns that are interested in dietetics and nutrition as career paths. So these are great ways for your students to get experience. We take road trips during non-COVID times with our culinary council to tour other schools for them, and non-Sodexo accounts and Sodexo accounts alike, for them to see different programs, especially important for students who may have come from out of state. This was a great way for them to see other schools. And so these are all programs. And again, your student will get all of this in their inbox as we get closer to the semester, but really great ways for students to engage with the program and learn more and really be a force for change and transparency as well. So if your student has any interest in any of those opportunities, we highly encourage them to look out for them in the new semester.
And Stephanie, I want to make sure you have the opportunity to let them know how to get in touch with you.
Yes, thank you, Heather. So yeah, you can just send me an email, and I will say, if you follow a special diet, have a question, if your student has a question, the sooner you reach out, the better. We want to make sure that they have the answer. They're not stressing out about food when they're on campus. We want them to focus on their academics when they're here. Food should never be a stress, especially because it's everywhere. So let's make sure we get them the answers. If you have a question, please just send me an email, which is right there.
Wonderful. Thank you, Eden, Jason, and Stephanie, for joining us to answer our questions and to give us some more information about meal plans and more. And thank you to all of our families who joined us this afternoon. This session was recorded and it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel within the next couple business days. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Goodbye, everyone.